Project Tribute Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to aiding our nation's first responders. Our vision and mission is to enhance the life-saving capabilities of our first responders through raising awareness and funding for the life-saving work that they do. Our goal with the podcast is to be an educational avenue and a method for our heroes to express themselves. In the podcast, we will discuss various tough subjects. Some of the subjects may be uncomfortable or controversial. Our guests have the right to share their thoughts and ideas, and for our listeners to hear the unedited words of our guests. The Foundation's role is to showcase a diverse array of thoughts and opinions within the first responder community. If you hear something that you do not agree with, please consider reaching out to us at projecttributefoundation@gmail.com and join our podcast. If you're a first responder and you would like to share your story, we truly would love to hear from you and learn from your experiences. Please enjoy this week's show, and as always, like, comment, and share to help us grow. You can find more information at www.projecttribute.com. Thanks and have a great one. Hey guys, John Beckloff from the Project Tribute Foundation. So another week down, and this podcast will be a pretty short one. Just do a couple announcements of what we've been working on and our recent board meeting. So we today actually I just purchased 30 first aid kits from North American Rescue. We're going to use those for Hominy Fire. Chief Surratt over there I think he's got 25 or 26, and so we got a discount if we went up to 30. So got those that are being shipped and on their way, and then we'll go deliver first aid kits that were purchased through donations. And that's another 25 first responders that will be able to have life-saving tools right with them. I believe that they've got their wildland firefighters plus the game warden and local law enforcement, and as well as his fire department. But that way they've got tourniquets and other items in their private vehicle, because that's a lot of times they're arriving on scene with that. The other thing, so we've kind of picked for our first responders that aren't medically trained beyond just the first aid. They're going to get this North American Rescue Kit, and on our next show, I'll be able to show you what that looks like. And then we found a company out of Oklahoma, Spiro, Oklahoma, Refuge Medical, and they have the Bear IFAC 3.0. So this is going to be the other item, and if you're looking on YouTube, it's got it's pretty cool. It looks more reflective in the camera than it does in person. But the Bear IFAC 3.0 has a much more in-depth level of medical stuff. Sorry, I'm going to rip Velcro here in just a second, so cover your ears if you're on a podcast. But they built this thing. It's impressive, and it's got room to add into it. But basically, you've got your stop bleed off items and then your airway items, and they've put it together in just a real simple packaging. There's a lot in there, and then through just working with their team, they've gotten our pricing to where it's something that we've got basically the best price if we buy in bulk. So we've written quite a few grants, but if you're listening and you work for a company that first aid supplies going out to first responders is something that you feel like would be in their wheelhouse, reach out to me. Our email is pretty straightforward. It's projecttributefoundation@gmail.com. But this is going to be more for firefighters, EMS, the people that are trained, for example, how to open an airway or chest wound seals, that kind of stuff. So much more substantial. But this is a phenomenal, especially if you're like the medic for a SWAT team. This is a very compact design. They really thought this out. And it's also an Oklahoma-based company, which I like. So that's going to be one of the items that we've kind of drilled down to with the North American Refuge Rescue with their first aid kit. We'll use that for just the frontline first responders, and then for those that have more substantial medical training, then we will purchase the Bear IFAC 3.0. So it's definitely our goal for 2022 is every first responder in Oklahoma, starting with the smaller towns and then working up into the bigger towns. So if you're, like I said, if you're listening and you work for a company, or you've got a brother-in-law or somebody that works for a company, or a sister-in-law that works for a big organization, we could definitely use just some help. It takes a lot of time to go through each company's website to try to figure out, do they provide grants and all that. So that's our big push this year, is to get every first responder some kind of medical gear, either the kind of the basic level Stop the Bleed, which is what we were giving out basically all last year, or this Bear IFAC. So that's our big push, and then we've got our first the first round of them is going to be should be arriving any next couple days, and we'll take those over to Hominy and post on our Facebook page as we deliver and talk with the chief over there. If you recall, he did a really cool podcast. It was just a fun podcast. He wanted to be a motorcycle Evil Knievel growing up, or a rock star, but can't sing worth a lick. So I thought that was pretty fun. Other than that, the reason we're going to take a break, one is that just all of our first responders have been really, really busy, but it's a lot of work to keep something going every week. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to pause for the month of April, and then we'll continue to bring guests in and record. We're just not going to broadcast them. And what we will do though in April is we'll broadcast through Facebook Live and just do weekly updates about the foundation. That way we still are connected with you. There's still material to see, but as fire season comes up, the summer, the hot months and all that stuff, we start seeing the grass fires and all that, or tornadoes. It gets a little bit harder to get our first responders, just their days get really busy. So the goal would be that we'll get a backlog of podcast. And the other really exciting thing is that we just had $2,500 donated to enhance our podcasting. It was from Jan and Bruce Colgate, and they were doing that to celebrate my birthday. I couldn't tell you how old I am, but it's just a generous gift. And so what we purchased a whole bunch of microphones and better cameras and all that to help us expand and really update our podcasting. The end goal of the podcast is to really just bring that fire table discussion that you hear about at the professional firefighters and do that here. Still trying to figure out what it's going to look like, where it's going to be, but multiple cameras, multiple microphones. That way we can really start getting some good engagement. And again, the focus of the podcast is through the discussion of mental health and just talking stories, but also talking how do you overcome, as a firefighter dealing with a hard call, how do you overcome that? Or a police officer, and then hell, how about a spouse? So we'll continue really dive into those topics and keep it engaging. But I think we need a month to take a real quick pause as we get the new equipment here, we get the new podcasting set up and get everything done professionally. One of our goals is maybe this could be another avenue of income for the foundation. That way we can go out and buy more first aid supplies and really get the foundation growing for our goal of hitting all of Oklahoma for 2022. So other than that, just keep checking out our Facebook page. We've got a lot of new shirts. We have a ton of events coming up over the next couple months. It's going to be all through Bartlesville based. And then towards the end of April, we're going to do our grand opening and ribbon cutting of the office space. It's just, we've got a lot going on over the next month. And so really excited to share with you all to continue engaging with our first responders and the communities that want to learn more about their first responders. So if you're listening to this and you're, man, I got a story I want to tell, great. Reach out to us, projecttributefoundation@gmail.com. Also, as we're doing grants and events and all that stuff, if you got a little bit of spare time and you can just help us write grants or help us send out emails to companies, or if your company, if they do a company match or anything like that, again, all of the funds that we use, they go directly towards life-saving, unless, for example, with Jan and Bruce Colgate, they said, we want to spend this money on podcast supplies. So we'll put it right towards that because it was specific. That's what they wanted. Another common question is, hey, if I give money, can I give it to, can you all help our hometown? Yes, within reason. If somebody gives me $10 and says, I only want this $10 to go here, there's not much I can do with that. So I'd be more apt to say, hey, if you'll hold off, maybe we can see if we can help in a bigger manner. But if you're, hey, I've got 5 police officers in my hometown, what would it cost? I'll do the math and tell you, hey, this is what it would cost for us to serve your first responders. And then we coordinate and go from there. But the goal is just to really get first aid supplies and also help be an avenue that if you guys want to help your first responders, we're an easy way to do it. Trying to make it very, very simple through our PayPal or our website uses Stripe and PayPal and Venmo and all those other methods. But it's going to be the year of growth, and that's going to take a lot of work, but we'll keep trucking away at it. Also, I just want to take a quick second and just recognize that I've got, several amazing board and our advisory board members that all of them do it for free out of the kindness of their hearts. They either have ties to first responders or it's just something that they're passionate about. And it is a lot of work and a lot of stress to even just the weekly meeting or emails and then the once a month meetings takes a lot of time, especially if you're trying to be successful in your own life and your own career and then throwing this on top. So I just wanted to say thank you to my board members and my advisory board members for all the time and commitment. We've got a couple of them like Sierra, Brett, Tyler. They've all been Cody, Justin Miller. They've been with us going on since the start, which was a year ago, really this month. And they've hung through, and all of them have had some major life moments. Justin just had a beautiful baby, and him and his wife have a rambunctious crew at their house already, and he's still staying engaged. And him and Jared have got a really cool idea around smoke detectors. So we'll be hopefully launching something around that, but they're kind of getting a scheme together. But we're just going to keep trucking away and keep going. And so we're going to take a pause on the podcast just so we can get better material, but also so we can get all the technology plugged in and arrived and all that stuff. So our next show should be a little bit higher quality. And so we'll be doing lots of filming over the next month and doing the Facebook Lives. So we're going to switch over just for April to Facebook Live. And if you don't have our Facebook, please go on there. It's Project Tribute Foundation. And another big thing that you guys can do to help us is to go like, subscribe, and share. Anytime we make a post, it changes the algorithm. The more people that view it and engage with it. And same thing on our website. We've signed up for Google Nonprofit and several other things that as you just take time and go view our website, even if you go log into the website, hop on a page and just sit there for a second, it changes the algorithm to where Google then puts our web page or our Facebook page more prominent in other people. In kind of as they're scrolling through. So that helps us continue to grow. And as we grow, we continue to be able to fund and reach more first responders. We don't have any paid staff. We don't have any sources of income that don't go directly towards, the foundation. Our cost is just this podcast costs $30 a month plus the gear. And then we've got some just minor costing things. And then plus the office space was donated to us. So we've had a lot of very generous folks that have helped us really cover a lot of our operating expenses. And that way the majority of our funds can flow right to first aid or life-saving gear or training or any of that. So if you are seeing this and you've been following us, we've got about 50 people that watch this every week. I just wanted to say thank you. That helps us continue to grow, and please encourage your friends and family to listen as well. But that's really all we have for this week. We're going to take a pause for the month of April, and then we'll get back to it back in May. I just want to say thank you. We've had some amazing donors, and some have donated, tens of thousands of dollars to help keep the office, and then some even just we've got one lady out of Dewey, Oklahoma. Just want to take a second and Miss Helen, thank you. I don't know if you're on Facebook and podcasts and all that, but your monthly commitment has been just phenomenal. Just it's encouraging as people make, even it's a $10 or $20 monthly commitment, and just those checks. It helps my morale, just knowing that somebody appreciates and sees there's value in the work that we're doing. There's a lot of long nights and a lot of long weekends to help serve our first responders. And so if you're considering it just a simple monthly commitment, PayPal does it where it automatically will do it, but something as simple as $10 or $20 makes a massive difference for us, especially if we can get several people doing it. All righty, guys. Well, that's all I have. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your spring break. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow, so I'm hoping to go fishing. But just want to say thank you. If you see a first responder out and about, please take a second and thank them. And help us find some donations, help us find, company matches or grants, and like, share, and comment on our posts as you see them. Appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your day. This podcast is hosted by the Project Tribute Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to aiding our first responders. Thank you for listening. For more information on our efforts, check us out at www.projecttribute.com. If you're a first responder that would like to share your story, contact us at projecttributefoundation@gmail.com. You can find us on various social media and podcast sites by searching the Project Tribute Foundation. 100% of donations are used to save lives, while our retail store pays for any of our operational costs. Thank you again, and please be sure to like us, follow us, and share our foundation with your friends. Thank you and have a great day.